guys? It's Thursday. Welcome back to another colorful keto with Dori. Let me just turn this down a little because we're going to leave it playing in the background, our awesome honeycomb. And I want to chat with you guys today. Now, I hadn't planned a scheduled live. I was talking with somebody this morning, and it made me realize there's something I really need to talk to you guys about. We've talked about a lot of different parts of the weight loss process and different ways that our lives change. But I want to talk to you guys today about the physical pain of being morbidly obese, because I think we don't ever really talk about that. And I want to talk about that because I don't forget. I don't forget what it was like to spend every day, all day in pain. And I know that there are a lot of people right now who are living that way, and they don't even realize there's another way to live, that you don't have to live on painkillers and suffer and be in pain all day, every day. So I want to talk to you guys a little bit about what my life was like before. I want to talk to you guys about physically what being morbidly obese was like. I mean, we all talk about if we feel confident or if we feel pretty or if, we date or if other people find us attractive. But I don't think we talk enough about the physical pain that is associated with being that much overweight. So I want to talk about that, and I want to explain to you guys what mornings looked for me, what it looked like for me back in the day, because it wasn't that long ago, and I don't forget. And every morning when I woke up, the first thing I noticed is that the pain in my legs was incredible. Like, incredible. It was so painful that when I woke up in the morning, I physically could not stand on my feet. So I would sit on the end of my bed for about 20 minutes and cry. and cry while I waited for my legs to adjust, to get the feeling back in my feet. And from there, you would crawl your way along the wall because you couldn't fully support yourself yet. And I would do that until I got to the potty, and I would sit there for about 20 minutes and cry in the morning because it hurt. It hurt so bad. I didn't even want to get out of bed every day. It hurt so much. From that point, my day never got any better. It never got any better. I took 2 to 4 painkillers at a time every 3 hours just to get through the day, like just to manage, not to be happy, not to be comfortable, not to be vibrant, just to manage, just to get through the day. And that was the start of my day. And I think that I knew that wasn't right and it wasn't healthy, but I didn't know how to fix it. And at the time, all of my friends were the same size, and we all were in the same physical pain. I mean, that would be topic of discussion all of the time. How long did it take you to get out of bed today? Oh, I only cried for 20 minutes this morning. Yay, high five. High five. I managed to, get on with my day. And when you live your life that way, and when you're in so much pain all of the time, you don't see the joy in life. You just don't live the same life that other people live. Every moment is thinking about, what, do I want to go out? Am I going to have enough painkillers to last me until I get home? Once I get out, I'm going to be so uncomfortable. Are we going to have to walk around? Am I going to have to sit somewhere? I don't know how many times I was too fat to sit somewhere. Like, actually though. When I was pregnant with my son, we went to Dairy Queen for a family birthday party, and I was too big to fit in the booth. I couldn't sit there. Like, that was a moment. That was a sobering moment. Although I will say the manager of the Dairy Queen took pity on me and brought out the manager chair and wheeled it out so that I could sit. Like, but that's a humiliating moment, you know. I went for a ride on the swings with my sister's kids at the amusement park, and I got my butt stuck in the swing. And I mean stuck. Like, I mean, there was no prying that out myself. I mean, I had to actually signal the guy who ran the ride to come and help me pry my butt out of the seat. That's a moment. Like, that's a moment. And because children don't understand those moments, my sister's kids would always say, remember that time, Auntie, when you got your bum stuck in the swing and the boy from the ride had to come help you? Remember how funny that was? It's like, yep, that was pretty funny. That was pretty funny. But beyond the pain of just being able to get out of bed every day, I'm going to tell you guys something silly. I didn't know that irritable bowel syndrome was a thing. Like, I didn't know it was a thing. I didn't know that you weren't supposed to cry and throw up when you poop. Like, are you not supposed to stand there in waves of pain holding the garbage can so that when you throw up, you have somewhere to throw up to? That's not like in your lap. Like, and I thought to myself, does everybody else just throw up in their lap? Like, they don't hold the garbage can. and it was 20 minutes after I ate, like clockwork. Even though everybody told me that wasn't physically possible. Oh, Dori, that doesn't even make any sense. Your body can't process any food in that amount of time. They weren't wrong. Your body doesn't process any food in that amount of time. I don't honestly know how I didn't die, because I was pulling no nutrients from my food. There's no way that food can sit in your body for 20 minutes and you're going to pull all of the nutrients and all of the good things that you need out of it and then move on. Like, there were times when I literally had to stop eating dinner in the middle of dinner if we were eating spicy foods so that I could go to the bathroom and then come back and finish eating dinner. But regardless, I could set my watch 20 minutes. If I ate, 20 minutes later, I was in the bathroom. So what does that mean? That means no eating out. No eating out. Like, ever. Where do you go where you can eat and be home in 20 minutes? Never. Like, never. There's never any eating out. There's never any eating in public. Back in the day, I couldn't drink coffee. And you guys see me drink coffee all day, every day. Like, from the moment I wake until I go to bed, my guy teases me, you don't need to bring your coffee with you to bed. And I'm like, shut up your face. You don't know. Not the boss of me. But back in the day, if I had 1 cup of coffee, I couldn't leave my house. I could not leave my house. I would only ever indulge on coffee on Sunday, only ever 1 cup, and only ever if I did not have to leave the house for the day. Like, for the day. But I loved coffee. Like, well, that's a lie. I loved sugar and cream. Back then I put like 6 sugars in a coffee. It was ridiculous. But I couldn't have it. I couldn't eat those things. I couldn't eat almost anything. And all of that stemmed from how much overweight I was. How much overweight I was. I mean, I was mortified when the doctor told me I was morbidly obese, because obese was bad enough, but thank you for telling me I was now like morbidly obese, which is officially anything more than 100 pounds overweight. And clearly I was. I've lost 145 pounds. So clearly I certainly was morbidly obese. But I think that if you haven't been in that position, if you haven't been to that point where just normally functioning is painful, then it's really hard to understand the pressure that you're under. Because even though I was in all of that pain, I didn't know how to fix it. I didn't have a clue. I just accepted that that was life. that was every day, and each day you just tried to claw your way through to the next day, right? Like, if I can make it through today, then tomorrow I get to start this joy all over again. Like, yay me, yay me. You know, suffer, wither away, repeat. That was my life back then. That was literally all I saw. I didn't see an end to that tunnel, or a light, or a day when I would be healthy or feel good. I really didn't care about the fact that I was fat, and if people found me attractive or if they didn't. I mean, I wasn't single. I didn't have nobody to impress, right? So for me, it wasn't about, I need to lose weight because it's socially acceptable, or I need to lose weight because I need to be a size 10. I had to lose weight because I was in so much physical pain that I couldn't manage anymore. And beyond that, I realized at that point, when my son was 13, that I was 10 years away from my mother's diabetes. I was 10 years away from her stroke. I was 10 years away from her heart attack. I was 10 years away from her gout due to diabetes. And I realized then that was it. If I didn't make a change, and if I didn't do something different in my life, I would die. And it sounds melodramatic, like, hey my God, Dori, you're going to die from being fat. But I was. Like, I was going to die from being fat. That's the bottom line, is I was going to die from that. That is what they would have written on my autopsy, that I died strictly because I was overweight. My mother had all of those health issues, and they started when she was young. Let me think how old I was. When Isaac was 13, would have made me, what's 13 and 22? 35. So I was 35, which means my mother had her first stroke at 45 years old. I'm 43 now. So if I hadn't changed my life then, I would be 2 years away from a heart attack, 2 years away from diabetes, 2 years away from a stroke. All of those things. In the end, my mom got really bad cancer. But again, all of these things we're learning we can treat with our diet. Cancer lives on sugar. What happens if you take that away? You know, I think one of my favorite analogies, I was doing a live with Dr. Ken Berry, and he said this. He said, Dori, when they breed cancer cells to study, what do you think they feed them? Do you think they feed them fat? Do you think they feed them protein? What do you think they feed them to grow? They feed them a sugar solution. They literally take sugar, they dissolve it in water, and they add it to grow cancer cells. So does it make sense that cancer might respond to sugar in your body? Does it make sense if they literally use sugar to culture cancer and grow it in your does it make sense to you? Because that makes sense to me. Like, I think if they're going to put that into a petri dish to grow cancer, why would I put that into my body to grow cancer? And I do want to talk to you guys about that too, because I wish I knew then what I know now. Like, my mother was sick for a whole year with cancer and chemo. And I carry a great source of guilt about that, because I didn't know. I mean, I was the one who was preparing her meals and feeding her, especially at the end. And I didn't know that these were the things that would make a difference. And now that I do know, I think that's part of why I'm so passionate to share with people, because I think, you know what? If I had just known 2 years before I learned, but it was years before I ever even heard the word keto. I never knew. I didn't know that it would be something that maybe could have helped her, and maybe it couldn't have. My mom was really far gone, but at the least maybe that last year wouldn't have been so hard for her. So I think, you know what, if I can help anybody and if I can spare anyone that feeling of, you know, what could I have done? What should I have done? That's my new goal in life for my mom, because she always wanted me to share. My mom always said I had a lot of gifts and I was meant to help people, but I never knew how to do that. I never knew how to do that. And when I found keto, I won't lie, I would say that my whole journey is inspired by my mother from beginning to end, the irony of it. And I'm really happy that I have that guidance. But there's so many people out there right now that are where I was. You know, they wake up every day and they're in pain, and not just emotional distress because somebody called them fat at the grocery store, but real physical pain. And that's not any way to live. Like, it's just not. If you are waking up every day and you are in physical pain and you are like I was and you're living off of Tylenol and muscle relaxants and painkillers and antidepressants, all of those things were not healthy for me. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to grab a Kleenex because, I'm getting all slobbery. I wasn't going to cry either. Like, I don't know why I always think, I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to cry. I'm the queen of the criers, though. Like, I'll tell you guys that. I cry when I'm happy. I cry when I'm sad. I cry when I'm confused. I especially cry when I'm angry, which I think that one ticks me off the most, because people are like, oh, you're so sad. And I'm like, no, I will stab you. Like, I am that angry at you right now. You better not try to hug me. My ex would be like, oh, honey, come here. You're so sad. And I was like, I would not approach me right now, because those are not sad tears. Not tears of sadness. Hashtag fear for your life. My ex was not the smoothest of men. He got into trouble a lot. Oh, thank you, Heather, for saying that it's not my fault. And I try not to dwell in that. You know, I try to just move on and know that, you know what, my mom would want me to help people. Like, all day long, my mom wants me to help people and share that, so that, you know what, somebody else doesn't lose their mother or their father or their children or, you know, their friends, their family. We can band together and we can share that knowledge, right? It is within our power to share that. No one can stop us from sharing that. That's the beauty. That's the real beauty. Is it, you know what, for as much as the government tries to put out bad information and bad food and give us bad advice that keeps us fat and unhealthy, I mean, really, they don't probably benefit off that, right? Like, Medicare isn't big business. Like, there isn't big money in keeping people overweight and sick and unhealthy and on, what, Joette, 34 different medications were you originally before you started keto? And I think she's down to somewhere between 3 and 5 now, but 34. Please explain to me how any human being on the planet needs 34 different kinds of medication, please. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not a doctor. I don't even play one on TV. 26, Joette says. 26 different medications she was on. Now, I'm no doctor. I am not a doctor. But will somebody please explain to me how any human being on the planet requires a combination of 26 or more medications, and how that's healthy? You know, consider what the side effects are for each of those medications, and you know what, at the end of the day, the answer is eating well? What? Like, oh, Shandy, I went to junior high with Shandy, and Shandy says she remembers my mom. My mom was always the most fun. Like, my mom accepted and loved everybody. She literally adopted people into our family as we went. When you guys hear me talk about my brother, Jacob, who lives with me, he was an adoption by my mother. He came to my family when I was 10 years old, and he was a very high needs child. He was 14 months old, and at that time he didn't even stand, speak, walk, any of it. So my mom really had a spirit to include people. If you didn't have a family, if somebody didn't love you, you had my mom. Like, you were never alone because you had my mom. And my mom's house was the one house where everybody felt comfortable and everybody was together. And I'll tell you guys a secret. When my mom died, my whole family fell apart. Like, it was hard when my grandma passed away, but my mom was the real matriarch of my family. She was the one person that everyone in the family could get along with, regardless. Like, if you had a feud with so-and-so, or you were mad at, such and such because they this or they that, it was always my mom. My mom was always the common ground between everybody. And when she passed away, it was hard for my whole family. I had one uncle who everybody still kind of loved, who kind of pulled stuff together, and then he passed away 2 years ago. So my family is pieces now, like pieces where we used to be a unit. And I know that that's just the way it is, right? That's just the way it is. And I won't lie, I can't be the peacekeeper because I can't stand them. Like, my mother was blessed. She had the patience of a saint. I'm the one who freaks out. Like, my mom was the one who was calm. I'm the freaker outer. Like, I'm the baby of the family. If somebody's gonna have a fit about something, it's always the Dori. Like, security. Like, it is literally always the Dori. Everyone in my family will be like, just bite your tongue. It's only an hour. You can get through it. And I was like, no, she better not look at me. If she looks at me, I'll freak out. Like, oh, but I want you guys to know that you're my family now. You are my family. And the same as my mother collected people, I collect my family. And together we are strong, and together we are healing our lives, our health. We're losing weight. We're dealing with our mental issues. This year, we're going to do a little of this, and we're going to deal with our grief this year, because I know enough from reading the comments when I've done lives and talked about this. This isn't just me. Like, a lot of you are in the same position I was. I gained my weight when my mom died, and I didn't know how to deal with my grief. And I really just kind of steamrolled over it and continued. But the problem is it's still right there. So you guys are going to have to take that journey with me this year. And I'm sorry if you don't want to. Like, I'm sorry if you don't want to, but I need your help to do it. Because I know that I can't do it by myself. So I'm going to count on you guys. And I'm going to lean on you guys to get through it. Because my mom was really everything to me, and to even contemplate a life that doesn't include her is really hard. So I know it's not just me, and we're going to do some of that this year. We're going to do some lives with Eureka, if you guys saw when we met her, and she's a grief counselor. And we're going to do that. We're going to do some lives where you guys get to talk about what you're dealing with as well, and ask for advice and share your story, because I think the hardest thing about grief is how isolated it makes you feel, because you feel like nobody really understands. And even if they did, I mean, they don't really want to hear what you're talking about, and you don't want to bring anybody down. I mean, come on, you don't want to be a downer and you make people sad. So I think that we end up in this cocoon where we don't really know, A, who to talk to, and B, even if we had somebody to talk to, how do you begin? Like, how do you even open your mouth and all that stuff comes out? So we're going to learn. We're going to learn from the basics. And you know what? I think it's going to benefit a lot of us. I mean, me definitely, because man, like, seriously, I'm a mess. I need this. Like, I need this for me, but I feel like we need it for us too. And I think it will really help us grow, because weight loss is such a small part of the journey that we're on. And I know that originally that's why we all got together, because you know what? I want to lose 20 pounds, or I want to lose 40 pounds, or I want to lose 100 pounds. But at the end of the day, as you begin a journey to change your lifestyle and to become healthy, those things kind of fade away. And what becomes important is working on how we got there. Like, how did I get there? How did I end up being 290 pounds, not caring about my health and accepting that I was just going to die? Like, really? I was 35 years old. How sad is that? Like, I gave up on being healthy by the time I was 19 years old. So, you know what? It's not too late to feel healthy, to be healthy. Later today, we're going to do a watch party, and we're going to rewatch Nancy Childress's very first live that she did that inspired me to do live. And what I want you guys to see is how much Nancy has changed in 1 year. 1 calendar year. In 1 calendar year, she has gone from a woman who could not sit in a chair and have a 10-minute conversation and breathe properly to the woman you see now. And she is happy, she is healthy, she is vibrant. She's down 70 pounds, but more than that, the woman can breathe. Like, the woman can have an entire conversation for an hour and breathe. Do you know what a victory that is, to just be able to breathe? Oh, Jonathan, we're talking about some sad stuff today. Not necessarily all sad stuff. We started out talking about the physical pain of being morbidly obese and what it's like to not be able to get out of bed in the morning because your body hurts so much. What it's like to live on, 12 to 24 painkillers. Yeah, I did go get myself some. I did. And we're talking about sharing that, and the people in our lives who don't know that they don't have to live in pain, that every day doesn't have to be suffer, depression, repeat. So that's my message to you guys for today. We get to share it. It's in our hands. We have the power. There is no government, there is no food regulation, there is no doctor standing over us that can stop us from saying, this changed my life. This changed my life. In almost 2 years, I've gone from one extreme to the next. I literally have gone from the woman who could not get out of bed because depression had such a strong hold on me to the woman you guys see all the time. And am I not the happiest person that you see, except for when I'm crying, because I'm a crier. But that has changed for me. And I want you to know that if you're standing on the outside, because so many of us do that, we stand on the outside and we say, well, so-and-so got really good results, and so-and-so said it was really good, and my neighbor down the street has started keto. The only thing I can say to you is do it for the love of God. Like, for the love of God, for your health, for your happiness, to have fun, to live longer, to enjoy time with your friends and family. Do it. It's not as hard as you think it's gonna be. It's really not, I promise. And soon you'll feel better, and we'll all feel better, and we all get to work on that. Because you know what? We're in charge of our health. We are. You're in charge of yours. I'm in charge of mine, and we're gonna help each other. Because knowledge is power. Knowledge is power, and strength is in numbers. And you know what? We don't have to be the biggest fish in the ocean, but together as a group, we're bigger than the biggest whale. And the big companies, those are the whales. Those are who we have to fight against. They're putting out bad information. They're putting out bad food. They want us to be unhealthy. But you know what? Together, we're stronger than they are 1,000,000 times over. The power is ours. The dollar is in our pocket. We get to choose, what do we buy? And based on that, guess who has to supply it? Because if you stop buying garbage we don't want, they learn in a real quick hurry. They're not rich for nothing. Like, they're not rich for nothing. So I say it's time. It's time for us to share our story, share our journey, and share what we want. What do we want for our health going forward? What products do we want available? What kinds of school lunches do we want served? What do we want our seniors eating in seniors' homes? Do we want them feeding garbage and sugar to our children and to our elderly who can't really defend themselves? Like, let's be honest. Let's get on mama's train and start defending the little people who really need my mom's help. And help me share, guys, because this is how we do. This is how we do, and this is how we're going to change the world. A little bit at a time, one share at a time, one message at a time. Later today, we're going to do a watch party in my group, and you guys are going to help me celebrate Joette's victories. Today is her 2-year ketoversary. This woman blows my mind. I was able to make a really fun tribute video for her, so we're going to watch that. We're going to do a watch party, and I want to talk about it, guys. I want to talk about how much can your life change in a year? How much can your life change in 2 years? How much can we change the world in the next year? Because we can do that. We have the power to change the world together. And I want us to make a goal. I want us to pick something that we're going to change this year because it's our year and we're doing it. So I love you guys. I adore you as always. And I have to charge up. Both my devices are almost dead. But we're going to cook something later. My guy's working nights. So what do you guys feel like cooking? Let me know. Hey, good looking. What do you want to cooking? We'll see you guys soon. Oh, I'm so silly. You're so silly, Dori. I love you guys.